Good morning, or just morning at this point, because there's nothing good. But welcome everybody to the Pitch Track Chronicles. I am Uncle Tats. I'm here with Donald and Rob, and holy shit, this is a disgrace. That's all I can say. This is a
Everyone in the chat, it's time to rant.
and rant we shall, because I've just had enough. Every freaking pitcher that we go up against turns it. We had pitcher like Sandy Koufax. It's ridiculous. We can't beat a little league team right now. That's how fucking bad we are. My nephew's little league team can embarrass the Yankees. They can't hit shit. Right? We got two hit by the fucking Angels. But don't worry, Hal. There's nothing for us to complain about. It's ridiculous. I can't freaking take it anymore. We're tuning in game after game. Like I made the joke. I think it was last week or the week before with that last scene from The Incredibles. We're just waiting for something amazing to happen. Well, I'm tired. I'm really getting tired of waiting. I really am. And it's down. It's from the 1 spot to the 9 spot. Nobody's producing anything. You're trying to infuse some people, right? We got Peraza in a lot, finally got called up. Had a great first game against the Angels. Never made an out. Then yesterday, he's gonna hit Rhodes in a bump in the road. I'm not blaming anything on Peraza. I'm not blaming anything on the hitting coach, right? Because we still got to wait for his lessons to kind of sink into their brain, whatever's left that they haven't fried. I just can't. I can't take it anymore. I really can't, guys. We have to figure something out, because all we're going to end up doing is continue to just come on here and just go over the same things over and over again. Can we? All I ask for the Yankees, can we talk about a win for a change? How about trying to win a game, or even showing up to a game?
Forget wins or losses. How about a direction? Because I'm not quite sure what they actually want to achieve on a day-to-day basis. Just like they say they want to win, but they don't actually manage to win. They don't actually prepare to win. They say that they want to win, but they don't actually take the actions and the steps in order to win. They do everything in a roundabout way. But let's give a big shout out to everyone in the chat, because this chat is absolutely jumping, baby. We've got so many people we got to give a shout out to. Let's start with Sunil, who already got here nice and early prior to us getting on air. He had to rant. Hashtag Firebin. Hashtag Fire Cashman. Hashtag please Hal sell the team. My use of cap should tell you all you need to know. I woke up, bypassed anger and violence straight away, choosing rage. It's my guy. Shout out to Sunil. Love you, my brother. Jonathan, good morning, man. NFE, good morning. LA Yankee King, time to sell. This team is so beyond help. NFE, anyone else loving this dumpster fire? FJ, good morning, guys. It's a great day to be alive, but not a Yankee fan. Laurie C, burn it to the ground. Shout out, Laurie. Will Starr, good morning. Sean Casey, as Laurie says, Sean Casey already wishes he was back home on his couch. LI Yankee King, what's he got to say here? In words of the great Pete Simonetti, Pierce Johnson has a 6.50 ERA. Who else? Elliot, good to see you, man. Excited to see enjoy the Yankees free for all. Yeah, it will be. MH, hey MH, my agent, my agent is in. Good to see you, my guy. Negotiate a new contract for me. Let's see, Elliot. We can talk about a win when certain key players start hitting, and the Yankees can score more runs than 3 runs. So everyone who hasn't already hit the like button, hit that likey button first before we start ranting and raving and going off our heads. Hit the sub button if you haven't already done so. But it's really important that all the negativity, we don't forget about our people that join us every single day. Every other day, they are here. They are loyal. They are much more loyal than these Yankee players that suck. So shout out to you guys, because you guys are the real GOATs. And we'll always try and give you guys a good the truth as we see it. But, you're always here for us. So big shout out to you guys. Rob, what are you thinking, my guy?
That says it all.
I've run out of words. I mean, I could come on here and just start spouting off the same stuff that everybody's saying. Cashman sucks, Boone sucks, Stanton sucks, LeMahieu sucks, Rizzo sucks. They all suck except for Gleyber Torres right now. Like, he's the only one that should be like excused from, and the rookies. I'm not going to put too much on them because they're rookies, but like out of these guys, the only one that can be really cast aside is Gleyber because he's producing. He had one of our 2 hits yesterday. He had the only run, and it's just bad. The pitching wasn't good, but it didn't matter. Once the Angels scored 3, you're like, are the Yankees going to be able to come back? And no, of course not. So there's a lot of finger pointing going on right now. Like, it's Hal. He's cheap. He doesn't want to go over the threshold. $293 million is cheap. That's another conversation. You shouldn't need that much to win. The fact that, you have Judge on the IL, you have $65 million in the IL, just in offense, and then you have another like 80 plus that's not producing. That's more than teams' payrolls. In fact, that's more than the top team in the AL East payroll and the second place team in the AL East payroll. And those are guys that are in our lineup right now that are just not producing. So if you want to find, if we all know what the reason is, $290 million went to a bad roster, and this is what you get. You have a few guys that are playing well, and I thought about it yesterday. I was like, man, if we had just lost that game to the Dodgers, we probably aren't on this tailspin, this mudslide right now, whatever you want to call it, this debacle, because if Judge never runs into that wall, this isn't happening. I mean, I would trade that game for anything right now. I would say, just let the ball go over you and let the Dodgers win that game, because the Yankees are probably in a better spot right now if that's the case. You trade,
but then it would be a false sense of security, man, because this team was damaged long before Aaron Judge did his toe in, man. This just shows what this organization is, man. Remember when Brian Cashman said this is a championship caliber operation? That is false. That is a lie. This is a last place operation that's carried by Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole. That is the reality. Anyone doesn't believe that, there is a bridge that I can sell you, my friend, because this is not a championship caliber operation. And almost it's a blessing in disguise, because now you see exactly what holes and what problems exist without Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge had to have the greatest season almost in baseball history, which is the longest running sport in the world with so much history. And he had to have one of the greatest seasons of all time just for the Yankees to make the playoffs last year. That's the reality. So you take him out, and this is what we are. We're a last place operation. We are an operation that doesn't know what they want to do. This is an operation that made Oswald Peraza get treated like Himmler's ghost, for Christ's sake. We didn't even know he was there because the Yankees had to sell to us that Josh Donaldson is the man. He can still do this. Josh Donaldson's still a great player. Josh Donaldson's fantastic. Just bullshit. He's not hitting all season long. Oswald Peraza is your number one prospect. They're treating him like Himmler's ghost, for crying out loud. So don't give me this idea this is a championship caliber operation. This is a far from a championship caliber operation. They don't really know what they want to do. They don't know what they want to do on a daily basis. And that's why we are where we are. So when I heard Aaron Boone come on talking Yanks with that segment where he is making a complete and utter buffoon of himself in these segments on a weekly basis with the Talking Yanks. He said, I know we're in last place, but there's context to that. There's no other context. You're in last place.
Context is you suck. That's the context.
We're right there. They're not right there. You lost the series to the Angels. You lost the series to the Rockies. Us three as a podcast could beat the Colorado Rockies, at least a game. Right? So they lost the series to the Rockies. They lost a game to the Angels. Again, us three is a podcast, and I can't even play baseball where the shit would have beaten the Angel for the Athletics. So this is a Yankee team that are losing on a daily basis against some of the worst teams in the league, and they're in last place. There's no other context. I don't want to hear any other context. Had they won 10 of 12 and are in last place, that's a different argument. But they're losing 10 of 12 pretty regularly. There's no other context. So Aaron Boone continues to just spout out bullshit. that just doesn't exist. Like, he doesn't talk anything that makes sense. He just talks a whole lot of nothing. And now my ire is pointed firmly at Aaron Boone now, because I've managed to give him the benefit of the doubt, right, for up until this series. But the more he talked and the more he mismanages games, the more I realize, oh my God, there's problems freaking everywhere. Like, every fucking where. Like, we don't have a left fielder. That's a problem. We don't have a good general manager. That's a problem. And we got a manager who is making a complete fucking ass of himself. Excuse me.
No, because the problem is, Boone was getting a little bit of a pass because he could only work with the roster the GM gives him. Right? We accepted that. Right? And we were giving him a chance to try to figure out how to make it all click. It has not clicked. It's actually getting exponentially worse as the season goes on. Is managing of this pitching staff has been atrocious.
Mm.
Let's go back to Domingo's previous start, right? He's cruising. Yankees are in the game. They have a lead. He's not even, I don't even think he was at 80 pitches, and he pulls them. Last night, he doesn't have his best stuff. He had no fastball yesterday, but let's push him to over 100 pitches. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to how Boone manages these guys. You know, the one night that he probably could have gotten away with going to the bullpen, you know, a little earlier, he holds back. When the pitches are cruising, he can't wait to get to the bullpen. It's like his wires are crossed. He can't figure it out. He cannot figure his own thoughts out. And we're going to be breaking down his press conference from after the game yesterday. But I can't wait for that. But Rob,
buckle up.
No, it's not his wires; it's his puppet strings that are tied together.
Yeah, that's true.
He's saying everything that they want him to say, and there's only so many ways you can say turn the corner. But he keeps saying that, and it goes back to Donald's earlier point. Had they won 10 of 12, right, or had they been on some sort of like 6-game winning streak or whatever, let's say they won 9 out of 10 or 7 out of 10, and just the other teams in the division just kept on winning too. It's like you can't do anything about that. He would have a fair point there. It's like, well, we're winning, but we're the other teams are winning too. We can't make up games if the other teams are winning. He'd have a point there. He'd also have a point if the Yankees were getting continuously unlucky with their at-bats, but he keeps saying we're having good at-bats. We're making the guys work for these outs. You had 2 hits yesterday. You're not drawing walks. I don't know, and I'm going to blame Sean Casey because the Yankees said Dylan Lawson was the problem. They used him as the scapegoat, and they said, we're going to bring in Sean Casey, and we're going to try to fix this roster, and didn't fix the actual roster. They gave him the exact same team and said, fix it. And a lot of us are willing to be patient, but we don't have the time to be patient when we're trying to make the playoffs. The fact that we're facing bad pitcher after bad pitcher, and we still can't put up good at-bats, we look worse. We look worse with Sean Casey as a hitting coach. I'm just going to say it. We're striking out a ton. The at-bats look bad. Stanton's fallen off a cliff again. LeMahieu's been bad. Volpe has been ruined, and he was actually hot for a month. They ruined him. I don't know how they managed to do that. And what is Sean Casey teaching these guys? Because he said we're having too many quick outs. We need to have these 8-9 pitch at bats, work the counts, get on base. They're not doing that. They haven't been doing that all season. And whatever Sean Casey's teaching them, again, I didn't agree with firing Lawson because I didn't think he was the main problem. Because you give any hitting coach this kind of lineup right now, everyone's struggling, they can't really do much. But you firing the hitting coach when the GM has never done that is telling me that you expect a quick fix, especially against 2 bad pitching staffs. You aren't facing Ohtani yesterday or the night before. You were facing pitchers with 6 ERAs across the board against the Rockies, and you could barely score against them. So, well, they scored, but they blew that game, the last game also. So I don't know what's going on. But
Dylan Lawson's a problem, but he has no bigger problem than Brian Cashman. Brian Cashman's the one that hired this guy. Dylan Lawson's not a good hitting coach. We knew that. It was plainly obvious. All you need to look at is Aaron Judge. Who's Aaron Judge's hitting coach? Well, it ain't Dylan Lawson, so I can tell you that for a fact. So if your best player doesn't listen to your organization's hitting coach, that should tell you everything. So there has been a problem with Dylan Lawson for a couple of years, but the Yankees refuse to look into it. Right, but this goes a lot deeper than Dylan Lawson because as Brian Cashman even said in a prior interview, he said this is an organizational thing. They have analytics for everything. They got video. They got this. They got that. They got Wilkerson. They got 2 or 3 other assistant hitting coaches. They got a whole bunch of guys. I think they've got too many cooks that are spoiling the broth, in my opinion. But it goes much deeper than Dylan Lawson. This is an organizational philosophy where these all swing out of their shoes. That's the organization philosophy. This is the organization philosophy will be like, well, as long as you hit the ball hard, that's all we care about. So this exit velo nonsense. If you swing the ball hard enough, you'll swing the bat hard enough, you'll get some success. Lie, complete lie. That's just not true. So the Yankees are. Yeah, they hung out Dylan Lawson to dry, and I have no sympathy for Dylan Lawson. He's a freaking terrible coach. I don't think he'll get hired again. But it goes much deeper, and Rob's right about that. It goes much, much deeper, and it starts with Brian Cashman.
Yeah, they're not even competitive anymore. You can, it's not like they're just going through a stretch where they're just having bad luck at bats, or they're just getting, they're not getting the pitcher's not getting the call on a strike 3 that's extending the at bat. They're not even showing up anymore. That's the other problem, And I want to bring up one more comment. But I want to bring this comment up before we pull up the press conference. Right? And Steve Schumann, what's going on, Steve? Do you guys think that the playoffs, the players really don't care? When you're a professional athlete, you have a big ego and pride in what you do on the field. Not sure it matters who's managing it. I actually do think there's a little bit of truth to that. I think the players, they got to stop. If they don't believe in themselves, they don't believe that they can get themselves out of it. What good is a coach going to do?
I don't believe that for 1 second, because Anthony Rizzo wouldn't have changed his at bat middle of the game if he didn't care. He knows he sucks right now, and if there's anyone who's got pride other than Judge and a couple other guys, it'd be him. He doesn't want to suck. He doesn't want to lose. He's gone from one historic organization to the next in his career. He was a Cub, and they won a World Series. He knows what it's like. He knows the grind, and he knows what it takes to get there. He doesn't want to be playing like this. Stanton doesn't want to stink it up. You can see it on their faces. They don't look happy. If they were just striking out and kind of like when Donaldson did it, was it last year? Remember when Sonny Gray got taken out of the game and he was smiling a couple of years ago? Some players might not care, but I don't think this is the case with these guys, because you can see it. They know that there's something going on here, and they just can't figure it out. I don't think it's that they don't care, because if that was the case, then that'd be a bigger problem. You can hear it in their press conferences as well. Like Rizzo, he knows it. They know it. These guys know it, but it's up to the leaders. Unless these guys start playing well, the rest aren't going to follow suit, because you can't have Harrison Bader carry an offense. He's never been that player, and he's not going to be that player. You can't rely on the 2 rookies to do it when the veterans aren't. You're not relying on the catcher, because the catchers suck offensively. We don't have a left fielder. We don't have an outfield, to be honest. Even Harrison, like I said, Bader, he's just kind of hitting to his baseball card. And the first week that he came back, you're like, this is incredible. And it was continuing on. Then he got hurt. This is the kind of player he is. He should be a little bit better. But again, it goes all the way back to who put this thing together. That's where the blame needs to go. I don't want to start blaming the players and be like, this guy doesn't care. This guy doesn't care. They don't care. Why should I? Because I know the players care. There's no way you're going to have a guy like Judge is still with the team. There's no way he's going to let that happen. There's no way Garrett Cole's going to let that happen. Garrett Cole gets mad if you breathe in his direction sometimes. You think he's going to be okay with guys just not caring in the dugout? I don't want to believe that.
I agree with you. I don't think that these guys enjoy playing the game of baseball right now. I don't think that they enjoy it. I don't think they enjoy suiting up on a daily basis. And that is a reflection on the manager. I think that the excuses that have filtered down from management after years of underachievement has spread through this organization. It's quite clear. I mean, you even hear one of the winners of the locker room, which is Anthony Rizzo, say, "Oh, we're not a bad team. Bad teams are 10 to 15 games below 500." It just sounds like more excuses. It just sounds like they're actually listening to their manager, who glorifies getting struck out 17 times and getting 2 hits. He'll compliment the 2 hits, but he's not going to focus on the fact that they struck out 17 times and made a complete buffoon of themselves and are in last place. So that is something that's completely fed into this organization because they don't seem to be that motivated to play. They don't seem prepared. They don't seem to make the right decisions on the base paths or anything like that. They just don't seem prepared on a daily basis. And that is a reflection on the manager. So there are certain things that the managers can do in the margins. You know, they can manage a bullpen. They can have your team prepared, and they can have your team ready to go. I think that still falls on the manager. I don't think Aaron Boone's doing any of that. Now, would Joe Torre come in and make this team a really good playoff team? No. So that isn't Aaron Boone's fault because this team doesn't have a left fielder. This team doesn't have a catcher who's really got a major league bat. You know, Anthony Rizzo is playing like he's on the downturn. You know, you got Stanton who's playing like he's on the downturn. You got Bader who's always been a glove first guy. We don't have our best player. And we got DJ LeMahieu who went from batting champion to God knows what he is now. And so, yeah, I don't blame Boone for any of that. But what I do blame him is the lack of preparation, the lack of spirit, the lack of effort, which I do see on a daily basis. And I do blame him for his strategy, especially in game, especially late. The worst thing that could happen to a Yankee game is if they're tied going into the 7th or 8th inning, because Aaron Boone will try to find a way to fuck it up. And I can absolutely take that to the bank because he will do that. He's done it in the playoffs every single year he's been manager. So this is him. He is not a strategist. He's a guy that just goes, you guys go and do your thing, and I'm going to go and tell you how wonderful you are afterwards. That's him as a manager, right? It's all kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. But as an actual strategist, he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. He's not capable, and he speaks a whole lot of platitudes of nonsense. And when you're a last place team, I'm sorry, it falls on deaf ears. You just look like an idiot.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get this press conference up, and who knows what we're going to be in for this. But let's hear what our leader has to say.
Yes, our leader, Commander-in-Chief.
Anything else you can do to try to find it?
No, this is our group, and obviously, we have a new voice in there with Case where we're trying to lay the right foundation, have the right conversations, free these guys up a little bit mentally. I think a lot of them that are going through a tough stretch, the game gets really hard and you start to press, and so you got to strike that balance. You've got to strike that balance between, coming in, preparing, ready to compete, but also going out there and having fun playing the game of baseball. And that's what we gotta find that balance, and that's what we're searching for.
You just say having fun playing the game? I'm not having any fun watching the game.
But these players aren't having fun playing the game. They look miserable.
You can see it on their faces. Jesus Christ, this guy's an idiot.
What do you think it typically takes a new hitting coach to really get to know the hitters and be able to make an impact? It hasn't been a week yet, so.
Well, I think he already has had an impact and is starting to get to know those guys. So, I think you can start to learn guys almost right away, which I think Case is, and obviously with the help of Casey and Brad, those relationships are starting to be forged, and we'll keep growing in them every day.
One of the things Sean said last week was that.
Rob, I saw you shaking your head.
What has Brad Wilkerson ever done for anybody? I mean, I don't know why we're including him and why we have 3 hitting coaches to begin with. It hasn't worked, still isn't working. And again, he's giving you the runaround answer every single time. He can never just give you a straight answer. Like, yeah, I get it that he needs time to forge relationships, but you're talking about a lineup that has a former MVP in Giancarlo Stanton, a batting champion in DJ LeMahieu, a World Series champion in Anthony Rizzo. You have a good enough hitter, an average major league bat in Harrison Bader. You have a former all-star in Gleyber Torres. There's 5 people I just named you right there. You have a rookie in Volpe who is your top guy, untradeable. He's the future. You should be able to teach him how to be better, and he was for a little bit until they screwed up. And then now you have Peraza up here. You have enough people that your lineup should be able to put together 4 or 5 runs a game, even without Aaron Judge. That's the simple bottom line of it. this team should not be where it is right now. It really should. And a lot of it falls on, like Donald just said, the way this team prepares. They script games before they play them. And that is the worst thing you can do in the most unpredictable sport, one of the most unpredictable sports there is. It's just, we say it all the time. You can't predict baseball, Susan, right? That's the whole saying that John Sterling always says. It's on shirts. Everyone says it. Every Yankee fan knows it. And it's true. You can't predict baseball because the tiniest little spin of a baseball in a curveball or a slider can make the difference on if the ball goes 100 feet to the shortstop or whatever, 90 feet to third base, or it goes 450 feet to dead center. That you can't predict the sport, and the Yankees try to do that. I'm just, every time Boone speaks, I hear the mouth vomit, and I'm just like, why are you bringing up Brad Wilkerson? Because he's just as much to blame as Lawson was. Wilkerson does nothing. You don't even see him, and the fact that they even talked about him just boils my freaking blood right now. Go continue with the interview.
All right.
This offense was kind of missing that grinded away from the starters, getting to the bullpens. Why do you think that's kind of missing?
Yeah, I mean, it has, in some ways there's been some games lately that's actually been a little bit better, even where we've struggled, like last night against Canning. He kind of shut us down, but we at least made him work hard to do it. So that's obviously an area we're trying to focus on. We're trying to get better for it, and it's something that we've always been known for. And we recognize that we have to do a better job of that.
How much does it's just judged? You're 12 over 500 when he's off the IO and 8 under without him. How much?
Well, that's what the story is. So we can correct it. We got the players to do it. We have players with track record to do it. I understand that's the story, and it's fair for this year. We've been through stretches in 19 where we were down Judge and G and kept on banging. And those guys in that clubhouse are very capable. It's coincided with obviously the game's best player out. But so that's the story, but we're capable still. We got to find it. I mean, simple as that, and I know that's a broken record. I know it's a boring answer. We got to find it. And we got the guys capable of doing it, and we got to, and it's on all of us, on me, on the coaches, on staff, on players, to again strike that balance between, because the care factor is so much, and the game's so damn hard, and the hitting is so hard. You got to strike that balance between coming in, focused, work, preparation. Now 7 o'clock hits, 6:38 tonight. Man, let's go play. Go play the game like a kid.
All right, Donald. It's what the fuck? Of course, that's the story.
It's just a bunch of bumblefuck he's talking. He's not even talking anything that makes any sense. Oh, let's go play the game like a bunch of kids. Oh, well, let's prepare. Blah, 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 blah. They're not preparing. That's the problem. They aren't preparing. There's no preparation. And what about, we make these guys work. That's a lot of shit. You struck out 17 times. You got worked, as Pete says. So just stop it. Stop lying, you fucking imbecile.
Exactly, Jigga Man.
Jigga Man. Exactly. This is a whole pot of blah. Big shout out to Jigga Man, by the way.
Yeah, on Yankees Won and Brew yesterday with TC and Hector, we were kind of talking.
That's true. You know what? He actually Boone's more like Kamala Harris. He lives in space. He just talks about nonsense.
That's pretty bad to be compared to them, but we were joking around in the chat, making references with the whole Death Star, and then saying that it was more like Spaceballs, not Star Wars. And with him talking about preparing, that's another scene in that movie that makes it even fit even more. TC, you're preparing. You're always preparing. Just go. And that's what this team needs. It needs to just go. Stop overthinking everything.
Let's keep playing. There's a whole lot of this shit.
Rob?
No, I mean he was going well for a couple of seconds there because he is right. You have guys that are capable of turning this around, but again,
that's what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, But then he goes and says the care factor is so high. Like, just stop talking after you said the most obvious statement. Like, yeah, we have an MVP, we have an All-Stars, we have World Series champions, we have enough to turn this around. But then you go say he stopped, he paused for it because it's like he doesn't even believe what's about to come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And then he goes, the care factor is so high. Just stop. Just stop.
Yeah.
What does that even fucking mean? It's
I
a
don't know.
competitive sport. The care factor is there. You're fucking losing. I don't care how much they care or not. It doesn't look like they care too much. They struck out 17 fucking times. 2 hits. Fuck off.
Against the guy that really didn't have his best stuff either.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah. All right. Let's. Oh God.
And we got to find that balance.
When the struggles are persistent as they have been, how do you, as a manager, how does your staff make sure that balance is being struck?
I mean, it's our life, you know, and you try and create as you know, for a lot of us who've been in this game a long time, and you understand how difficult it is and how much of a grind the season is. And so you try and create an environment that no matter what you're going through, when you're flying high and riding high, to when you're going through the toughest stretches of the season, or in some cases the toughest stretch of your career, trying to create that environment that is conducive to providing the right kind of work and information and preparation for everyone, but also a place that, you know, you want to be, and that's a bit of a sanctuary. And, you know, that's the environment you're trying to create.
How perplexing is it that these guys with great track records, it's going on now past mid-July?
Yeah, it's baseball. Like,
It's mid-July though.
yeah, but April and May, that wasn't the case. We're talking about a stretch, Randy. We're talking about, and frankly, a long stretch for some of these guys. And some of these guys that have been hurt have come back. So we're talking about, you know, a couple guys that are going through a tough stretch. It's baseball. You're going to look back, and even great players are going to look back in a season. Man, I just, you know, I was searching. You know, they'll find it. They will.
All right. I see you, Donald, shaking your head.
It's just a whole lot of shit. It's a
It
whole
is-
lot of
it's-
shit. The first thing that kind of jumped out to me was this whole sanctuary thing. Isn't that a problem? Oh, we want to create a sanctuary for these players? No. Create a competitive environment for these players, because that is how they will succeed. If you put them under a little bit of pressure, maybe you might actually get some results. Because since Aaron Boone's come in with this whole kumbaya, my lord nonsense, this team has started to go downhill. And now it's so far downhill, it is careening downhill in last place. So stop talking about this sanctuary. Oh, we have to find the balance between you know, preparing and then loving each other and loving the game. Just stop with the platitudes. Stop with this kumbaya shit. Every business that thrives in the United States of America is based on competitive nature, right? Competition from your rivals, competition from within. That's how you do well. That's how you achieve. That's how you climb the ladder. Whatever your business is, there has to be a level of competition, or you will just laze about and you will just do nothing. And that's what the Yankees are doing, man. They've surrounded themselves in this little sanctuary, this little bubble where, like, oh, you know what? Everything's great here. It's your fault for your expectations because we're doing everything perfect. Well, that's where the problem lies, because then you develop a bunker mentality. And that is what the Yankees have right now. They have a bunker mentality where they've not done anything wrong. It's everyone else's fault. And when you can't learn about yourself, your business, your organization that way, it's impossible. And that's what Aaron Boone's talking here. So even though, yeah, okay, I'm going to pick up on a certain comment here from Steve Schumann here where he's like, oh, what do you expect him to say? Well, yeah, okay, but I expect more than this. You can call out guys without ripping them publicly. You can just say, you know what? This is the New York Yankees. I apologize to our fan base that this is happening, but I guarantee you that we're going to work tirelessly every single day to put a better product on the field, and I will not rest until I do so. If I hear that from my manager, I'm like, okay, But this whole thing about empty platitudes of, oh, you know what, credit to these two guys for getting those 2 hits. Stop lying to me. This is not a competitive environment. This whole sanctuary stuff is a whole lot of horseshit, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm in my safe space now. This is my bubble.
Exactly.
This is my bubble. No, I'm going to say I feel safe in it. I can't be bothered. And I don't want to hear about a guy making $20 million having to need a safe space. I'm sorry, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because most of us in this world that watch this sport and love this team, we have to work regular jobs like everybody else. And we don't get safe spaces when we're at work. We don't have a time to go into sit in a corner and be like, I'm in my safe space, don't bother, because then you're going to get told to get up, either go home and you're done, or get back to work, right? That's as simple as that. And I don't want to compare a sport. You know, I hate comparing sports to regular jobs, but I also hate hearing how professional athletes who are, just because they're struggling, it's like they're on the fence of, do I jump off the bridge or not? I don't want to make a joke about that stuff, but this is what he's trying to, basically what he's like saying is, we got to make sure these guys feel safe and they feel good. And when they're coming to work, they feel like they're surrounded by people that care. This is a baseball team. They're getting paid to play baseball. They're not playing baseball well. Fix it. Stop saying all this nonsense. Just go there and fix it. That's all we want to hear. We don't want to hear this crap because we've heard it since 2018. We don't want to hear it. Just go out and you can say it. You, like Donald just said, you can say it and not call people out individually. You can just say, we have to be better. We're going to get going. We have the guys to do it. Like he was saying, we're going to do everything it takes to get this going. We believe in these guys. That's the most generic response you can get from a manager, and yet it's better than everything he's been saying in this interview.
It gets better. This is
We're just warming up.
But doesn't make it any easier to go through.
You've had some stretches this year where you guys haven't played well, including this one. You used the phrase, these guys are pissed. How pissed are you?
Look, we got a lot of pride in here, and you want to win, and that's why we show up every day, right? Goals shake hands at the end of the day, and we're trying to be the best team we can be. Try not to look. There's moments in time where you get frustrated and upset, but you get that'll weigh you down. That'll wear you down. You start getting overly emotional, high, low, mad. Look, we're human. There's going to be things in the moment that frustrate you. Our job is to work and figure it out.
fucking hell. All right, my turn now. One, you were a broadcaster on TV. You can't even answer a fucking question. You stuttering fucking moron. Right? Just say you're pissed off. Just say it. We're pissed. The players are pissed. You know what? I'm pissed too. We have to do better. Jesus fucking Christ. I can't with this guy. I really can't.
Everything about Aaron Boone was in that little 5 seconds where he couldn't answer if he was pissed or not. This is the last place New York Yankee team, the most important, most successful franchise in the world. And they're in last place. And he's asked if he's pissed that they're losing every single night. And there is a gap. He didn't answer for almost 10 seconds. It felt like an eternity.
Wait,
that's the problem right there. That's the problem. That is the problem. You can't answer that because you're not a manager. You aren't. You're not a leader of men. Could you imagine this as a leader of men? What the fuck?
I just... It's one thing when you say something wrong on the mic, right? And you get a little over-emotional, overreactionary, and you say the wrong thing. For him to come out and just go, yeah, I'm pissed, that's not... That'd be fine. If that's how he would have ended the interview, I would have been like, all right, he gave us a lot of garbage, but at least we got a little bit of honesty out of this guy. He can't even be honest with us. It's a fucking joke. let's finish this out.
You said earlier that 640 one will go out there and play like a kid.
638.
630. I'm wondering if you feel like maybe that trade has been elusive in any way with this team. Like, are you sensing guys maybe putting a lot of pressure on themselves?
I think at different times, yeah, that's the ultimate test in this game is one of the real tests in this game, because it is a game of failure, and on a big stage, and when you've done it, and you're going through it, striking that balance is one of the biggest challenges, and what separates a lot of players a lot of times is that ability to again kind of prepare, work, do what you need to do to be ready to go, but then when you go out there to play, like, now it's time to go play, and I've been there. I've had stretches in my career where I was terrible, and you got to get to that point.
Yeah, like this one.
I'm going to show up, ready to go, prepare, work, and I'm going to go have fun playing the game. And we got to, that's what we got to find right now when we're going through this tough stretch.
I know you've turned over a lot of stuff.
Oh my God! What?
I gotta strike the balance of wanting to hit myself in the head with a shovel or just dunk my head into a fucking pool of water after listening to that.
Wow. It's one thing to try to give us, that shit salad that he tried giving us. Right? But then he goes and he makes it about himself, how, he's gone through stretches where he wasn't his best. You were not a good ball player. You were lucky. The only reason you were still involved with this team is because of one fucking home run. That's it. One home run. That's your whole career. That's your that's it. That's your single moment. One home run off of Wakefield, and we get it. Now we have to deal with this shit.
I mean, all he had to do, like we said, just say you're pissed off, right? When they say, "Are you pissed off?" Be like, "Yeah." Why wouldn't we be? Why is that? That's not like breaking any news. That's not like, wow, Aaron Boone's flying off the handle now. No, he's simply just answering a question honestly, and you'd be like, "Hey, there is a human in there." That's all you would say. And there's no manager that's coming in here and fixing this, because we know where it starts. The Yankees hired a guy that's going to do and say whatever he's told. They didn't want the guy that's going to go against the grain, because then they would have just kept Girardi for another year. And I didn't even like Girardi. They would have went with Tony Pena, because he is the exact kind of guy they can use right now, is a Tony Pena. But they didn't want him. They didn't want Rob Thompson, because he wouldn't do this. They wanted a guy that's going to take the Cashman script. This is what I want you to say. This is what I want you to say. If we're going through a tough stretch, this is what you need to say. If we're going through a good stretch, this is what you need to say. This is how you're going to manage. This is how you're going to use the bullpen. This is how the lineup's going to be constructed. Aaron Boone was like, I know what this guy's. I know what his OPS was last year. You're hired. That's how they did it. That's literally how they did it. And the fact that their hitting coach is another analyst who's never coached before. And again, I have a lot of respect for Sean Casey, but this is what they keep doing. They're hiring analysts with no experience and saying, "Come be the manager of the most historic franchise in the sport." You're an analyst. Come be the hitting coach of the most historic franchise in the sport and fix it. That's unfair. First of all, to those guys, expect them to come in here and change it. It's unfair to Sean Casey, but at the same time, it's like you're trying to tell us he's not a puppet. Clearly, Aaron Boone, I don't even think he wants to be saying this. Look at the disdain in his face when he is saying some of these things. It's like he can't even believe the crap that's coming out of his mouth. That's why he has to keep stopping and have to think about what he's going to say next. It's like he's got a script. He's like a WWE superstar. When they forget what they're supposed to say, they kind of stop. So it's the same nonsense. I know he doesn't want to be saying this crap, because he was such a different person. He's so much different when he's doing even on Talking Yanks, a little bit different.
You got a little personality from him.
A little personality. And when he was in the broadcast booth, he was a completely different person. Now he's clearly, it's like he has to follow. Even Sean Casey's first interview when he got here, he had that Yankee script with him. because he was saying like a few days before that, it's like you can't win with the home run ball in the postseason, and now he's kind of like, oh, they got so many good guys here. We're gonna go try to win a World Series. It's like he's following the script. It's like they hand him a binder and say, "Read," and this is what you're gonna say.
Let's listen to more of Aaron frickin' Boone.
Games lately that's actually been a little bit better, even where we've struggled. Like last night against Canning, you know, he kind of shut us down, but we at least made him work hard to do it.
That was the thing that really stood out to me. At least we made them work hard. I mean, when you find a positive in striking out 17 times and say, "Oh, at least we made him work hard," is one of the most embarrassing things I've ever heard from a baseball manager. That's not okay. It's like, hello, police? Yeah, there's a moron talking nonsense outside Yankee Stadium. He may have a mental problem. He's shouting nonsense that it's okay to strike out 17 times because at least we made him work hard. Yeah, you might need to take him in. Thank you. That's where it is. I mean, are you freaking out of your fucking mind? That's moronic. You freaking moron. You freaking moron. Give me a freaking break with that. I hate that shit. Stop lying to me, man. That's just complete horseshit right there. But another thing that I want to pick up on was that during his blasphemous interview with Talking Yanks, he was asked about not walking Ohtani. And his reply was, 90% of the time he doesn't hit a home run. What the fuck does that mean? He's got 35 home runs and it's July. Oh, 90% of the time he doesn't hit a home run. I don't give a fuck what the statistics say, man. He's hitting a home run every single at-bat is what I'm fucking seeing. He's got 35 in July.
He's on the same pace as Judge was last year.
That's if when Phil Nevin was if he was asked why he pitched to Aaron Judge last season, and he says, "Oh well, 90% of the time he doesn't hit a home run." He hit 62 last year. I mean, that is as pointless, and not that he would ever say anything as stupid as that, because he's a much smarter baseball guy than Aaron fucking Boone is. But that's as ridiculous as that. Like, you ask any other manager in baseball, and they would never say anything as stupid as that. Ohtani is the star of the sport right now. You can't get him out. It's absolutely a no-brainer to go, you know what? I think we're better off pitching to the other 8 guys because I don't want Ohtani to beat us. And if the other guys beat us, well, you know, that's just the way it goes. But at least you manage and prepare to win. But Aaron Boone doesn't do that. And so when he was asked about it, and he went, "Well, 90% of the time he doesn't hit a home run." What the fuck does that even mean, you moron? He's an absolute machine out there. He got 35 in July. He's probably going to have been at 50.
He might have 60.
A backhanded compliment? Oh, well, 90% of the time he's not any good. What the fuck does that even mean? He's the best player in the fucking sport right now. Give me a fucking break, you moron.
And then another thing, he used Moniak, who hits behind him. He's like, well, Moniak's hitting 300 this year. You take your chances with the contact guy more than you do with Ohtani any day of the week.
He made that same decision in the 7th inning, man. No, the 5th inning, wasn't it? When Ohtani was in trouble, he pitched around Ohtani, pitched to that guy, got the guy out. All else ends well. So he went and did a 180 2 innings later. He doesn't even believe his own bullshit.
And even if you had prime Mariano Rivera, you don't feel safe pitching to Ohtani when he's on this kind of on a run right now. Remember last year, it wasn't that they didn't respect the guys hitting behind Aaron Judge. They just didn't want to pitch to Aaron Judge, so they pitched around him. Remember that. No one wanted to pitch to him because they couldn't get him out. So they said, we'd rather take our chances with an Anthony Rizzo or Stanton or Torres or LeMahieu than we would with Aaron Judge, because we know there's a better chance we can get one of those guys out than we're going to get Aaron Judge. The Yankees went through this last year, and Aaron Boone is like, yeah, but I don't think we should. I think the other guys need to be respected too. Anthony Rizzo is having a fine season last year, and people still pitch to him over Aaron Judge. So you experienced this firsthand. It was right in front of you. You were sitting on the top fucking step of your dugout watching it happen to your team last year. And now you're like, I'm not going to do it again. The game could have been changed. Who knows? Maybe we win, maybe not. But the fact is, it's a smart baseball move to not pitch to the best player in the sport right now. It's as simple as that. You can't get him out.
What doesn't make sense is why would you
imagine saying that though? That's insulting to Ohtani. If I was Ohtani and I'm reading that, and he's saying, "Oh, 90% of the time he doesn't succeed," I would be offended by that because that's a whole lot of horseshit. For one, and two, it's overusing analytics because I don't even know about the percentages. He's overusing percentages, and maybe that's the part of Aaron Boone's problem because that doesn't make sense. What you just said there doesn't make sense. That is not how a manager should manage a game. Oh, well, 90% of the time he's not any good, so we'll be fine. Well, what the fuck does that even mean?
you'd rather face the best hitter in the game right now, arguably with Judge being out. Let's say he's and I think he is one of the best hitters in the game, the best. You'd rather pitch to him than walk him to face a guy that you use the term 90%. 90% of baseball fans couldn't tell you who was hitting behind Ohtani. They didn't even know his name before that game. All right, but we have to respect him. Get the fuck out of here. That's why nobody respects you, Boone. Because of this stupid shit that you spew out after every freaking game.
And is anyone else tired of when Aaron Boone just goes, "Well, when you're manager, you can make the decision"? I'm getting because that's twice now that he's used that in an interview with Talking Yanks. Oh well, when you become manager, then you can make your decision.
We would do a lot.
It's actually a fireable offense. If the Yankees weren't so freaking soft. I mean, that is not an argument. Do you know what I'm saying? That is not a freaking argument. Oh, well, when you're manager, you can make that decision. That's not an answer. That's not an answer, man. You're not giving us an answer. Why did you decide to pitch to the best player in baseball? Oh, well, when you're manager, you can make that decision. That's not an answer, man. That is a getaway. That's a runaway. That's I don't want to take any accountability. So I don't respect Aaron Boone. And it's ridiculous that we're doing an hour-long podcast. Most of it's focused on Aaron Boone. But to be honest, we've done well as a podcast to avoid talking about him to this point. Because, again, I know where the real problems lie, and it isn't really him. But when he mismanages games, mismanages the bullpen, once again, Nick Ramirez, we got to talk about this whole Nick Ramirez thing, back-to-back games, blowing games. Again, that falls on Aaron Boone, too. Brian Cashman's to blame for this whole fucking thing, 100%. But Aaron Boone fills me with no confidence. He doesn't talk. He doesn't talk like a leader. He doesn't lead men. He just does not do that. And when he's asked to back up his decisions, asked to explain his decisions, he runs away. He wants nothing to do with it. He gives you a snot reply like that. That's not right. It isn't.
And Zach, welcome to the channel. This is the first time we're seeing you in. But no, I did see video. I was actually on the stream with Pete. I was in the chat with him last night, which when we got to that point when he couldn't say if he was pissed off. Yeah, no, I super chatted Pete for that one. I was irate, trying not to wake up my house from screaming at the TV. But yeah, and it's nobody. I don't care, and it's not to put down us. Nobody can rant like Pete.
No, he the man. He the man.
He is the rant master, and his show will be starting really soon. So we're gonna make it real quick. Are we expecting anything tonight? Like, we got Rodon on the mound, and maybe we'll get a chance. But we're facing a
What
guy
is my
that's
agent even saying? Donald, where's the beard at? It looks like I got a beard here, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can see it. Because we got Silseth, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, going tonight. He's 1-1 with a 5.30 ERA.
Oh, we're getting no hit.
So that's we're lucky we're not facing Ohtani this series. We'd be fucked.
Wouldn't matter if we faced Ohtani. We could have faced Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in this series, and we probably managed one hit. They could have had Ohtani pitch all 3 games, and it wouldn't have made a difference. It would be the same result as the last 2 games.
Thank you, Zach.
They don't hit any of them.
It's Donald. What do you think?
Thank you, Zach. I mean, Rob's nailed it. I mean, that's the mic drop right there. I mean, we could
Yeah.
face either Isaiah Kenner for Lefa. Wouldn't make any difference. I don't care who we face. We just took on the Rockies, who everyone had a 6 ERA. None of them could keep a ball out of the infield, and the Yankees could do nothing. So
It's so bad.
Give me
It's
a
so
fucking
bad.
break.
It's not even funny
Okay.
anymore. But all right, we're gonna end it on the IKF. That's it. I don't even want to. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Zach, thank you for subscribing. Anybody else who's not subscribed, please hit that sub button. Also, at 6 p.m. tonight on this very channel, the next episode of the Pinstripe Express with Mike Mazza, we will be interviewing Scott Braun. So we're looking forward to that. And hop over to NYY News because Pete will be on fire this morning. And make sure you leave those voicemails for him. So, as we always say, wear your pinstripes with pride and pray hard.
Play harder than the Yankees.